In the age of ancients.
I am a big fan of the Dark Souls games, particularly the first one, and take my advice, play the remastered version. Anyway, as anyone who has played Dark Souls can tell you, you spend a lot of time hammering away at it, playing a section of the game, dying, playing it again, dying, and so on and so forth. It's a credit to the game's fascinating story and immersive world that anybody sticks with it. All this time in-game gives a player time to think. As deep as the story and the mythology of Dark Souls is, it is also somewhat vague. Not everything is spelled out and not everything has a definitive answer, which allows room for the player to fill the narrative holes with their own interpretations and experiences. The idea of going hollow is one that interested me. Simply put, in Dark Souls, going hollow refers to a character dying and losing all their humanity. In the real world, that would only happen to you once, but in Dark Souls, you are resurrected countless times, minus your humanity, and given another chance to succeed where you failed before. As you fight, you can reclaim your lost humanity and gain new humanity, which increases your power and insight. You might be thinking that's how most video games are. You try, fail, and the game sets you back to a checkpoint and lets you try again. What is a little different is that in most games you are the only protagonist moving through the game. In Dark Souls, you're one of many characters facing the same challenges.
I am Anri of Astora, unkindled like you. This is Horace, a friend and travelling companion. Are you too in search of the Lords of Cinder? Oh yes, Horace. He's not very talkative. But don't think ill of him. He's an upstanding, kind-hearted knight, a fine partner for this grueling journey.
Some of those characters, most actually, don't make it. They hollow too many times, lose their humanity too many times. The effect is that they completely lose who they are. They forget what they're fighting for, and, best case scenario, they give up. The worst case is that they can no longer recognize friend from foe and will attack any who they come across. When I thought about this game mechanic, I thought about how this seems to parallel the battle with our own demons in real life. Particularly, I thought of addiction. Millions of people all over the world are dealing with addiction, whether it be drugs, alcohol, pornography, gambling, etc. Overcoming addiction is a journey, and a very difficult one at that. I compared the journey to recovery to the journey undertaken in Dark Souls. We start at rock bottom, locked in a forgotten cell in a decrepit northern undead asylum. All seems lost, and perhaps we've resigned ourselves to our fate. But then, something happens. Someone offers a helping hand. In the case of Dark Souls, it's Oscar, a knight who drops you the key to your cell. One important thing to note is that Oscar doesn't unlock your cell himself and lead you out. He provides the means, but it is your choice to act. You could sit back down and stay where you are, or you can take the key and open the door. It's the same with addiction. Those around you can help and support, but they can't force you to take those first steps toward recovery. Yes, you can be forced into rehab, which may help for a time. But if you haven't made the choice within yourself to change, chances are your recovery won't last. Back in the game, you make your choice and you leave your cell. You move through the asylum with relative ease until those first few steps on the road to recovery can often lead to a sudden obstacle that seems beyond your ability to overcome. It's not, but if you spent so much time giving into your addiction when things got tough, it can seem insurmountable. For most Dark Souls players, the best solution upon first meeting the asylum demon is to run. It's not impossible to beat, but chances are you won't win right now. You don't have the tools. For many, recovery from addiction requires you to equip yourself with the proper tools and skills. It may be therapy. It may be a support system. It may be faith. It may be a combination of things. You need to be sufficiently armed to battle addiction. So you continue your journey through the asylum. You gather weapons and strength, overcoming small hurdles along the way, which gives you confidence. Eventually, you find yourself facing the asylum demon once more, only this time, you know what you're facing and you're prepared. Literally and figuratively, you have the high ground and the advantage. Still, the battle isn't easy. You may fail, but even in failing you learn and have the opportunity to come back smarter. Eventually, you beat the demon. And unlock the door to the asylum. What comes next is a good news, bad news situation. Yes, you've escaped your prison, but you still find yourself a long way from your eventual goal. There are still many steps to take and many more battles to fight. It can be a disheartening realization, and some are broken by it. You could choose to stay. Think of yourself as Lord of the Asylum. But are you where you want to be? Is this good enough for you? Or are there greater things you can achieve? As I thought about what I wanted to say, I realized it might be a lot for one video, so I'm going to split this up into more than one. I hope you'll join me in the future. Also, I in no way claim to have this all figured out. I hope you'll share your insights in the comments below. Finally, if you are dealing with addiction and don't know where to start, I put a number of recovery resources in the description. Please know that everyone can beat addiction, even if you tried and failed 100 times before. Yes, you are strong enough. No, it's not too late. The journey will not be easy, but it will be worth it.